Joining me this evening from Manchester in the United Kingdom is Dr. Anusha Gupta, who's a family physician and also a COVID survivor even after spending 2 months in a medical coma on the ECMO machine. Thank you so much, Dr. Gupta, for joining us, and it's really wonderful to read about your story and what you said. Coming back after being 2 months in a medical coma, what was it like? Apparently, you had actually said your final goodbyes to your family, including your young daughter.
Yes, well, thank you and good evening to you. Yes, this was about 2 weeks after my 40th birthday last year, so March 2020. I became very unwell and, suddenly I deteriorated, and the ICU consultant came to see me up on the ward and said that I would have to be ventilated. And at that time, my oxygen saturations were extremely low, about 80%. And, I called my husband on the WhatsApp and said, look, I need to see our daughter. I was really worried that I wasn't going to make it. And that was it, really. I had to be ventilated, and I was in a medical coma for 2 months. So within that time, I actually deteriorated further. So once I was ventilated, 10 days after, I had to go on ECMO. So ECMO is extracorporeal membrane oxygenation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the most superior form of life support. And I was on this for 34 days. So yes, that took me up to around 2 months of being in the coma.
So it's really, you're a miracle story, really, Dr. Gupta. It's really lovely to have you on the show tonight. But just for all our viewers who are watching this program, suddenly we've seen in the Indian medical vocabulary also more and more people are going online saying we need an ECMO machine. We need an ECMO help to get an ECMO machine to this hospital. Firstly, of course, it's hard. How does a patient arrange an ECMO machine? But can it save you? Because many people think that when you're asked to go on an ECMO machine, it's virtually saying that it's all over. You're living proof that it's not true.
Well, it's the last resort, basically, and there are many criteria that one needs to fit before you're considered to go on ECMO. So ECMO is like having a pair of lungs that is basically doing the job of your lungs whilst your own lungs, rest and repair itself. So there's many criteria. One of them is this person sick enough to go on it, and are they going to survive? Are they going to have a good outcome from it? And in the UK, they only have 5 centres, and I was lucky enough to be at Wythenshawe Hospital in Manchester, which is an ECMO centre. And yes, it obviously did save my life. Yeah.
And of course, Doctor, in India, the second wave, which we're still battling through, which is the B1617. I know in the UK also some cases have been reported now of this B16712. This report we just saw that this time around it's much more virulent, and the survival rate in ICUs is much lower than what we perhaps may have seen once doctors had got the first wave under control in India. As a general physician, as someone who's observing what's been happening in India as well, what are your thoughts on this? What would you tell patients right now or their families who are struggling through this?
It's really difficult. I mean, in India, the population is so huge compared to the UK. But certainly one thing that's worked over here that's brought the rates down is, one, having strict lockdowns, abiding by social distancing rules, and of course, vaccination, which I heard one of your physicians talking about. I think the vaccination rate needs to increase, certainly, and it will really help. But I think the basic things is abiding by social distancing rules, definitely.
And what kept you going, Doctor? What was the one thing you think which kept you going through all this?
I'd have to say my family, my daughter, my husband, my family have been absolutely amazing. They've been behind me every step. And this is why, I've got to say I've had such a good outcome. And of course, thanks to all the teams that looked after me at my hospital in Manchester, I was very lucky, very, very lucky indeed.
Dr. Gupta, it's been wonderful to have you on the show and to talk to you. And as I said, I think stories like yours gives hope to so many other people and families and loved ones who are battling through a similar situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.